Shalom Aleichem, Erev Tov. We're here in the weekly Dvar Malchus here, the week that we are coming from Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year. So we wish everyone a Gmar Chasima Teva, Lashana Teva Mesuka, that we should all be sealed for a good and sweet year, and we should have a wonderful and great, joyous Yontif on a good and revealed basis with the revelation of the Rebbe Shlitah Melech HaMashiach. We want to also mention that the shir tonight is in the merit of the neshama of Rebbetzin is Zlata Bas Reb Aaron, who is Tibadel L'Chaim Tovim. She was the mother of Rebbetzin Chaya Rasha Kaplan, and she passed away early this morning at around 8:24 in the morning, and the Levaya will be taking place. If we haven't had the resurrection of the dead yet, and the Tchias HaMeisim, the Levaya is scheduled to take place tomorrow, Tuesday, in Florida. For more details, you will be able to access the Kaplan family on the WhatsApp channel. In the meantime, we want to learn a little bit and to get the feeling of the Dvar Malchus, even though we're learning the Dvar Malchus from the portion of Vayikra. Believe it or not, according to our order of the day, we're in the portion of Vayikra, and the Rebbe has been telling us about how important it is, the whole concept of something that is repeating itself 3 times. And this is the reason, the repetition there in Vayikra is because Shabbos HaChodesh and Rosh Chodesh Nisan fell on a Shabbos. Rosh Chodesh Nisan fell on a Shabbos, and therefore we have 3 Sefer Torahs, one for the reading of the Shabbos, one for the reading of Rosh Chodesh, and one for the reading of Shabbos HaChodesh, which is in the honor of the month of Nisan. And this is also something that is, we also see all the parallels, always, we merit to see the parallels between the material that we're studying and the period that we're going through. Right now, throughout the world, at least, and it was also in Eretz Yisrael, at least for Rosh Hashanah, we see that the Yontifs go immediately into Shabbos. They go into the peacefulness and the tranquility of Shabbat. Like we saw this year, Rosh Hashanah, the first 2 days were Thursday and Friday, and immediately we entered Shabbat. And so also in the diaspora, the holiday of Succot, again, will be Thursday and Friday, and immediately the first Yontif immediately enters Shabbat with no intermediate days in the middle. And also the last day of the holiday, the last days of Sukkot, which we know in the diaspora, we celebrate separately Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah. Immediately after that, we enter Shabbos. And this represents the concept of peace and tranquility that we're supposed to be experiencing. We want to mention, if not by name, so at least it mentioned the fact there was a terrible, terrible tragedy among all the terrible tragedies that we've been experiencing throughout the year. There was a terrible tragedy. There was a army base that was bombed in the northern center of Israel, and there were at least 4 soldiers, Rahman Litzlan, whose lives were taken. And these were not older men. We were talking about young teenagers of 19 years of age, that were doing their training. They weren't even into the war. They weren't into the fighting, into the battle yet. And this is what we're talking about now. This is what we have to demand and request from Hashem. When we're talking about the happiness and the joy, first and foremost, we have to remove all these tragedies that are occurring and definitely bring the immediate peace and tranquility to the land of Israel. And through bringing peace and tranquility to the land of Israel, the Holy Land, Eretz Yisrael, this bringing peace and tranquility to the entire Jewish nation and lahavdil to all the nations of the world, throughout the entire world. And this is what we're doing when we learn the Dvar Malchus. We are bringing closer the immediate peace and tranquility and the coming and the revelation of Mashiach Tzidkenu. We're on page, in the hard copy, we're on page 12, and the PDF file, we're on page 13, and the Ois is Ois Tes. And the Rebbe says as follows, and so as we see that these words speak about the laws of the laws that we study in honor of the holiday of Passover, so it is also in regard to giving wheat. That was the major concept in Shulchan Aruch it's brought, and all the needs of the holiday of Pesach for those that are in need. And this is basically, first and foremost, in order to have matzah, we needed wheat that was grinded into flour, and from this people had their matzah. But we're not only talking about matzah. We're talking about all the needs of the holiday. We're talking about meat. We're talking about fish. We're talking about wine, and all the fruits, vegetables, everything that a person needs in order to celebrate the holiday properly. And if anyone wants and is looking for an address, there are enough addresses as people, in other words, that are in need here in Sfas. And if people want to go and to forward anything, so it can be done through me, through my PayPal account, which is recorded. Everyone can find it. The PayPal account is the same as the email account, aak770@gmail.com. The beginning of busying ourselves with the giving of the needs of the holidays before the holidays is 30 days before the holiday, not 3 days, but 30 days. Ushtei Shabboses, and there are 2 Shabboses, 2 weeks, Lifnei Chag, before the holiday. Mirosh Chodesh Nisan, from the beginning of the month of Nisan, Tzrichim Lehisif Baze Od Yeser. We need to add in the fact that we have to take care of the needs of the needy, for those that are in need to celebrate the holiday. So this is even more excelled when we come 2 weeks before the holiday. And this is in proportion to the empowerment of the beginning of the month of Nisan, in a manner of miraculous behavior, miraculous conduct, more than one's nature and more than one is used to giving. And in more detail, also after we've already been busy in providing the needs of the holiday a lengthy amount of time, each and every one of us has to go and to return and to contemplate and to make a true account. Was what I gave till now, was it in the manner that was inappropriate? Was it appropriate? Was it according to my was it according to what is appropriate for me at my level of giving, according to what I have to give? Or is there a place and a need to add in this giving even more? And in addition to this, even after we have provided the needs of the holiday, as it is appropriate for us, a tithe, a tenth of our salary, and to the extent of 20% mitzvah min hamuvchar, which is a choice way of observing the commandment of giving tzedakah, one has to make an account that according to the rate of the additions of that the Holy One, blessed be He, has given us in His blessings. In the meantime, gadal gamaschum de meiser chomesh, the amount of our tithe or our 20% of giving charity has already risen. It has already became greater. And therefore, we have to add more in the giving and the provisions that we give for the needy, that are in need of their needs of the provisions of the holiday. And even more so. According to the sayings of our rabbis of blessed memory, Aser bishvil shetis asher. Go and give a tithe in order for you to become rich. In other words, this is not only us fulfilling our observance of the commandment of giving a tithe, but we have fringe benefits. When we give a tithe, when we give tzedakah, so our rabbis of blessed memory tell us this is a means in order to make us wealthy, to make us richer and wealthier. Therefore, a person can and needs to add in the giving of the needs, the provisions of the holiday, even more than the tithe and the 20%. And this is even before the addition of the blessing that the Holy One, blessed be He, gives us. And as much as he will add, every individual will add in the giving of the provisions and the needs of the holiday to those that are in need, so also the blessing of the Holy One, blessed be He, shall grow in an amazing manner of wealth, as spoken about at length earlier. And all this also in the days that before this, on the beginning of the month of Nisan, and how much more so from the beginning of the month of Nisan, that there we have the novelty in our service, which is that all our service is done and carried out in a miraculous manner. We have to add in the giving of the provisions of the holidays, more than our nature and more than what we are used to giving. This also is including our nature and that which we are used to in holiness, not only in our mundane physical being, but also in our holy being. In other words, to give more than a tithe and more than 20%, a chomesh, a fifth, and to the extent that it has no boundary, the tzedakah giving has no boundaries whatsoever. Incredible. And the Rebbe says that we need to add that according to that which we mentioned earlier in Seif Hey, in letter Hey, that in the commandment that this month is unto you, is stressed the first mitzvah that the Jewish nation were commanded with. Therefore, it is specifically and especially connected with the mitzvah of tzedakah, of charity. The Rebbe stresses here again the giving of provisions and those needs that are to people that are in need. This Sheshkula keneged v'choleles kol mitzvahs, which is equal to, and includes all the other mitzvahs. And in the entire Jerusalem Talmud, so when the mitzvah of charity, of tzedakah, is spoken about, it doesn't say the mitzvah of charity, it says the mitzvah. And it doesn't even say what mitzvah it's talking about, because this is the mitzvah, T-H-E. For it is, the mitzvah of charity is the main mitzvah of all the mundane mitzvahs, of all the actual mitzvahs, and it goes and surpasses all the other mitzvahs in its virtues and qualities. And this is similar to, and an example to, this month is unto you. Mitzvah Rishona Gam Miloshen Reish Shekol Kol Aivarim Mitzvah Aivarim de Malka. This is the first mitzvah. It is the mitzvah that comes from the connotation of the word head, Rosh, that includes all the Aivarim, all the limbs. Aivarim de Malka, the limbs of the king. Because we know that all these 613 mitzvahs are considered, as the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya, they're considered the limbs of the king of Hashem. Shenitztavu ba Yisrael, in which the Jewish nation was commanded. And if this is not enough, Ela shal yada nitvasef gam b'limud Torah. It is through this mitzvah that even the study of one's Torah is accelerated and raised. Ubifrat limud shazman grama, and especially the study that has to do with the period of time that we're holding in, Hilchos HaPesach, the laws of Passover, or if we want to take the parallel in our period of time right now, the laws of the holiday of Succot, the holiday of Sukkot, and the laws of the holiday of Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah. Kevan shal yedei tzedakah, for it is through the giving of charity, nasim meichei v'libei zakim elef pamim kacha. Through the giving of charity, one's mind and one's heart are refined 1,000-fold more than they were previously. The charity that we give refines us, our minds, our hearts, 1,000-fold more than it was before, so that now we are able to go and to sit and to study our Torah, study our Torah in the most highest and loftiest and refined manners, even 1,000 times greater than we were able to before we gave the tzedakah. And with this, we'll wish everyone a good yontif, a gmach simut teva, l'shana teva mesukah. And immediately now, the revelation of the Rebbe Shlitah Melech HaMoshiach in a manner of peace and tranquility, in a manner of joy and simcha v'tuv levav, happiness and joy of the heart on a revealed basis, that we can feel it with all our senses, and that it should be, main thing, it should be teichef umiyad, mamish, 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 immediately now. Yechi Adonenu Morenu V'Rabbeinu Melech HaMoshiach Chai V'Kayom Le'olam Voed. Amen.